Oh man, I have seen better days. I have to say I don't usually get this irritated before a stream starts. Um Generally speaking, there will be some topic I'll get into that kind of I don't want to say enrages me, but gets my passions going. But this morning I came up here to try and do what I normally do, which is find somewhere to park and then start the stream. And it's pretty much hot as it is almost every day now. Not as bad as some of the days before, but still pretty warm. When I park, because I've said before, one of the reasons I started doing it at 6 in the morning, I know people got pissed off, is because there's a lot of external factors that have to be considered for those 2 days of the week. Unfortunately for me, this coffee place is somewhere that a lot of people like to go to. It's a place a lot of people enjoy hanging out at. I don't necessarily get the appeal, but whatever floats their respective boat. But because of that, sometimes when I come up here, it's very hard to find a space. It's very hard to get any type of area that even if you can park in it that is accessible to their internet. It's just not something that is readily assured when I show up. So I come up here today and I'm looking around. Every spot is taken, but there's a spot next to this one car. And as I try to park next to it, because that the other side is let's go for a piece of pavement, so there's no car parked on the right side of my vehicle. I'm like, why am I having such a hard time just getting in this spot? Because I approach from the way I normally would. You get close to it, then you kind of like pull in, and I look and I go, oh, I see why. Because the person who parked here is actually over the line. So whenever this stream eventually ends, I'm gonna have to figure out how to pull myself out of this spot without hitting their car, and that's not going to be fun or pretty. But I was just thinking like, because I said before, the hardest part of driving for me, it's not turning, it's not anything having to do with actually being on the road. It's parking, because a lot of times you'll park somewhere and it'll be inconvenient, or you'll park there and it was maybe okay when you first got there, but then somebody else pulls up and it gets difficult. I told the story of how one time I parked in this neighborhood to go to a hospital. I came back. Somebody parked between from the time I came back. Somebody parked in front of me and right behind me, and I had to like squeeze like a little piece of salami to even get out of the spot. Um, then I mentioned how there was this one time I was parked on the street and I was getting ready to leave, and then this woman parked in the drive-through and basically blocked me in. Um, so really, that's why I said I'm just tired of this whole thing of having to come. And then I mentioned before, a lot of times people come around here, they like to play the little stupid loud music. Um, it's just been a pain. Like these last 6 or 7 or 8 months of every Saturday. It used to just be every Saturday, but because of someone not going to school or work for weeks on end, that means it's like Monday as well now too. And it's been driving me insane. Like having to constantly come up here just to speak and not worry about interruptions or so I hate the whole thing. I really do. I hate every single ounce of it with every fiber of my being. It's so much work involved just to do a little stream with a couple of people to show up. It's really sad. Somebody's playing some music right now too. Like I said, I'll try to find something else. Maybe I'll look for some other places that have Wi-Fi. Maybe I'll just go outside at the place. I'm tired of this. No, they blast music all day long. It's just that when I would come here at 6 in the morning, not only were there more spaces typically available, but there also were much smaller chances of any kind of distracting noises because most of the people are asleep. anything to stream, man. I tell you. I'm just thinking about all these spaces and how I'm not joking. Every time I come up here, it's like a battle to even get a space. Like there will be maybe one or two vacancies, and everything else is packed with a car. And it oftentimes it's packed with no sign of it ending anytime soon. Like this car that's next to me, it doesn't look like there's any chance of someone coming and getting in it, and then it'll be easier for me to get out. Hell, we're so close. I couldn't even get all the way out of the. Yeah, I wouldn't even be able to get all the way out of the car. What it is that, and I was trying to like diagnose the problem. They're over the line, so the little line that's on the ground. You can see their vehicle is like their wheels on top of it, so it's going to make it harder for me to pull out without hitting them. Which, of course, I don't want to do. As far as that's not a plan of mine. It's just because parking is the hardest thing for me with driving and pulling out and just like going in a straight line. Um, it's a pain. But you could describe streams at this point. They're a pain, a hassle, a sense of frustration looms over each one of them. I mean, I didn't even get to mention my air conditioner broke about I'd say maybe 3 or 4 days ago. And I was just sitting thinking to myself, I sat here not even in the last month. I got this thing's tires fixed. I had a new battery put inside of it after it overheated on me after I was doing that one stream out here. And now one of the primary functions that I need to even drive around in this ridiculous heat doesn't even work. So I said, man, cars, all they do is just find ways to malfunction and screw you over and do something else that requires you to install some more money in them. It's sad. Like I see why more and more Americans are saying they're going to work forever because who the hell could ever think of retiring if you got all these different random stuff popping up on you every other week, every week, just so I said it's all just a hassle. Man, I don't even want to be here. Now somebody's car is going off. I guess it got stolen. Damn, kidding. Some of these people will be parked in these spots from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. They will sit in that same damn spot all day long. So I'm fully expecting that person probably won't get in the car and leave in the next 2 hours. I'm gonna have to perform some magic trick to even be able to get myself out of this jam. It's interesting how there's always such a unique set of circumstances that cause everything to just become such a hassle. Like I'll never forget that one time I was streaming in the kitchen over at that place, and one of the people living there was like, uh, "Hurry up and finish the stream. I want to go and do this." I'm like, man, that's crazy. That's the first time I've ever had somebody try to like, put a time limit on me. No, I can't wait to be riddled with anxiety for the next hour and a half as I try to figure out how I'm gonna squeeze out of here. I don't know. It feels like I end up like when I try to pull out. If I go straight, I'm fairly certain I'll end up hitting the car because how close we are. I don't know. This whole thing is it's going to be one of those things where you have to like pull back a little bit and adjust yourself, and then pull forward and like go on that side too. It's a hassle. That's all I'm going to say. It is a complete hassle. Mm. God, I wish we could get one day this week that wasn't just balls, man. I really do. I don't remember what was the magic trick I used before. You pull up you pull up backwards, then forward, then backwards again. Hell, at this point, I would damn near want to just get out the car and lift it with my hands, just lift it over to the side. I was out with my friend who came to visit me, and there was a whose car was blocking the road for like 20 minutes, and we thought it was a parked car. Turns out the guy was in the car. Did you and your friend also go see Barbie? Because I wasn't trying to like spoil anything or reveal stuff about you, but I know that's the reason you haven't been showing up to my streams that often. You've been preparing for Barbie Mania. You and your friend have been saving enough money to go and watch it several times over each week. And when you decided to finally reappear, it was so you could promote the movie. I'm not even joking. Sometimes when I come over here, I really do sit back and like look at the cars and just see how many actually leave from when I show up to when I go, and it's like very, very few. When they have those spots, that's it. I'm just filled with dread. I think this actually might be the worst parking I've had since coming up here, like out of any day. That's a new record. We tend to not get any kind of like special things each week after week, but this might be the worst space I've had. And like I said, the driver is nowhere in sight. This car is going to be parked right here for as long as I'm here, if not longer. But knowing my luck, what will probably end up happening is if I try to back out and let's say, like you graze it, right? Just accidentally tap or whatever. Only then does the driver magically appear. That's the way my luck works. All this for a stream, man. A stream where only a handful of people even show up and only like two or three even talk. You just can't catch a break with this stuff, I tell you. I had a discussion with some members of my chat before, and I was talking about how I'm starting to notice a trend where it's like when I see overweight people, it's mostly women, and that happened right now. I am in front of this Starbucks, and there's about four of them right in front of me, and it's I see several males, and like yeah, one of them is like a little pudgy, but like the actual morbid obesity, it seems to just mostly be a woman thing at this point. Heck, even the lady that's working in there is not exactly skinny. So I'm just saying it's a trend I keep noticing, and everybody kept trying to spin that lie about oh exercise, exercise. No, there is no exercise over here. I swear, man, so much weight. I wonder if Jem will show up. I can get my revenge on him. He's been absent for too long, sitting around vanishing and disappearing. He's supposed to be the biggest fan of that LBJ thing we're doing, so hopefully he decides to make an appearance. Although if he doesn't, I wouldn't be too shocked because he doesn't like to set his alarm that often. God, I swear sometimes they come in like pairs and teams. Like you'll have a car and it'll just be filled from the front seat, passenger seat, back seats, and they all just come outside. I'm trying to remember when was the first time I ever because like I always saw some of them just around, but I'm really noticing that trend where it's like a lot of normal shaped guys and these really obese women. Like that's a running theme I'm starting to really pick up on. It's just so weird. But it makes sense when you have a society that tries to shame men over the way they look and that tells women that, you're beautiful the way you are, etc., etc. I guess this is the end result of that. Where one side, is like got everything together and then the other one just lets it all hang out. Yeah, worst part of driving still is parking, without question. I could get an assignment. They say drive for 3 hours. All right, whatever. They say you have parking this spot. A lot of parking spaces over here are just weird. Like some of them are like angled in certain ways to where you have to like tilt yourself in a specific way, and then if there's other cars there, you have to worry about not hitting them. Because that's usually when I have the biggest issue of parking, where you have to like angle it against someone else's car, like making sure that you don't, you know, bash into theirs or whatever. It's like, yeah, good luck squeezing yourself in here. The owner of this car is not showing up. That really is a thing that they just do. They just park somewhere and I guess they go in and do their shift, and it could be anywhere. They could park at Starbucks, be working in one of these little stores over here. So they're just kind of like what they're doing all types of just stuff that if anybody was paying any attention, they would get in trouble over. Because I've seen it to where you go to some convenience stores or markets, they'll tell you, and you can't park overnight here. We have cameras and monitors and all the rest of those fancy devices. So my usual thing is I'll be there to do the stream or to go run whatever activity I have, and then that's it. Because over here you can get in trouble for anything. No, it's just annoying. Like getting the space over here is it's not a fun task on either Saturday or Monday, and especially during like those like middle morning hours. Because they seem to have a real fondness for parking like right in front of where the place is. And one time I did try to park a little bit further down, but I couldn't use the Wi-Fi. I was like, oh great, so I have to. That means like you being able to do a stream is hinged on if you can get one of those like 10 or 11 spaces, which is great. Every time I pass that car, I'm like, is that the one who actually is parked there? No, okay, never mind. I'm just waiting for him. I would love more than anything for them to just back out, but I don't think I'm gonna get my wish. They're gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat and squeeze out of this spot. There's a way to do it. I just have to remind myself what the tricks were. I mean, it's like anything else where if you do it more often, you'll get used to it. It's just that more often than not, I don't have this trouble, and it's kind of shown most plainly in stuff like this, where somebody parks somewhere that's kind of like not that great, and then you try to park on the side of them, and then it's just like a big hassle. It's where I'm watching all these different people get their stuff, and they all walk past the car. I'm like, is this the driver? Nope. Is this the driver? Nope. Is that the driver? Nope. Yeah, it's probably somebody that works in one of these places. It looks like next either tomorrow or Monday. Hell, it might even be today. Let me look on discussing film. It looks like Barbie's going to crack 1 billion, which is really funny because all these. I will never get over the marketing campaign for this movie and the fallout from it, where all these different channels made videos talking about how bad it was, and it doesn't. It looks like their non-endorsements ended up being to the detriment of whatever desires they had. We hope that your movie does not do well. Well, it's doing more than well. Mm, I do feel bad for Winter. Oh, is that a bald lady? Oh yeah, wow. You don't see that every day. Yeah, bald lady with some glasses. That really did catch my attention. No, I feel real bad for Winter. He showed up to my stream. He made it sound like he was going to talk to me, but it was just another cruel joke. He made his quick cameo, and then he left. Why is it that the bald woman, and like I know hair is supposed to be this thing that people are really attracted to, but I just think it's funny that the bald woman is actually more attractive than the ones with hair because she's actually in shape. Hell, she's probably the best looking one out of any of the ones that have walked up here since I got here. Well, I'd say there maybe like two or three other ones that are okay. It's just I just think that's ironic. If only these chicks spent as much time on their, you know, weight as they did their hair, it'd be really nice. It'd be real great. God, I swear. Every time I get a new notification from YouTube, I'm like, oh man, somebody subscribed to me. Oh no, it's just them telling me that I'm streaming. Gotta remind myself, don't even bother checking your email. You already know what's in there. That guy really subbed to me. What is that? In October of 2017. Oh, I will never understand how weird men online are. Like, they will sub to somebody, I'm not even joking, 8 or 9 years ago. Well, it's not been that long, but just like, several years ago, and then never comment on any of the person's stuff, but then show up on a stream and write something weird. Oh man, this guy. Let me see here. One. He hasn't left a comment on a video in a year. So he subbed. What a bizarre character arc. He subbed in 2017. He left 4 comments last year, and then he just randomly reappeared to man. So I said people on this site aren't worth anything. What a loyal sub. Because I was like, I think I've seen that guy. I was like, oh, that's who that is. Blech. This woman just walked up here with the Rugrats shirt. The first thing I saw in it was the dinosaur, and I was like, I've seen that before. I know what that is. Even if I don't maybe remember what series it was from, and then it showed the Rugrats underneath it, or I guess like right underneath it. Now, if I could actually get out of my car, I might. Well, I still wouldn't be take enough agency to do something like that. But I would if I were maybe in the line, say nice shirt or something, because I've done that before. I remember this one time I was working at the retailer. Somebody came in there with an Eddie Guerrero shirt, and I said nice shirt, and they thanked me. That's the ice cream truck. So these comments on here are just so sad. Like you could have a whole topic that's being discussed, and they'll come on there and write something weird. They don't do it as often as they used to, but they're still lurking. And it's weird too, because like when they reappear, I'm always wondering to myself, where the hell were you? So I said this site has some really wacky people on it. But yeah, if I do that documentary the way I'm planning on doing it, it'll mean that I'll probably end up making I'd say roughly 8 or 9 parts. Well, what I'll do is when I put up the first part, I'll edit all that together. And the second part we edit because the book splits itself in 4 parts. And then at the end of making those 4 parts, I'll make one big video with all of them in there. So yeah, that's my plan, my mission, and my agenda. But it's been a fascinating read, I have to admit. Um, what stands out to me the most? I probably would say it's crazy that Envoy mentioned Huey Long during that stream just because like no one ever, as far as I can tell, has brought him up on any stream in the past. Because the book mentions that Johnson was an admirer of his, and apparently even got one of the Senate workers to like inform him when he would give a speech so he could watch it. Um, but as far as I can tell from reading it so far, there's no indication of Johnson's reaction to Long's assassination, which is really perplexing because if that was one of his heroes, you would think they would have some kind of. But I noticed with Dalek there are little like pieces of stuff that I'd say should be mentioned, or there should be like some kind of this description of, and there's not like um, when Johnson was running for congressman, I believe that was in 1937. His father passed away during the campaign, and Dalek makes a point of mentioning that his dad was someone that told him to embrace his age as like a thing that he should not run away from because there were people who were attacking him over being so young running for the house, and he dies like roughly around the time that campaign ends, like a month before or whatnot, and there's no mention of it. So that's the kind of stuff that I just think is kind of weird that you would think because when his mother passes in 58, they mention like, hey, his mother passed away, and this had him thinking about this, that, or the other. It's actually kind of depressing that his mother outlived her husband by over 20 years, and then her son doesn't even outlives her by, what is that, 14 years and 72. So she's like the only one that comes close to having somewhat of a full lifespan. But yeah, I'm most excited to get into his activities as a senator, just because a lot of that has to do with the 50s and a lot of the like racial tensions that were going on at the time. No, it's just been a really crazy. I mean, I could say week, but just the month has been whack too. So many coffees. I guess I really will never figure out whose car this is. But I am trying to figure out why they have to park over the line. Yeah, driving is just one of those things where there are parts that I really like, but there are parts that I really despise. And I don't know, just it seems like parking is just the like consistently the most frustrating thing. Like, yeah, it's annoying to have it overheat on you and you can't move it and all the rest of that stuff. But like on a consistent day to day basis of driving, the most frustrating part is parking somewhere and being in a spot where you have to like maneuver. Like if I were to just go straight back, there's a very good chance I could end up hitting this person's car on the back. So I have to like keep looking both ways and like try to scoot over to the other side. It's a hassle, and then combine that with the fact that there are cars coming behind me too, so you have to look that way as well. Which admittedly you do have to do a lot of times when you're driving, but generally speaking, unless you're changing lanes, you're not really missing that much by not looking over your shoulder. Like if you're just driving straight, you have to keep staring back because it's mainly just to make sure that if you want to change to a lane, you don't hit somebody that might be in the side or in front of you. Uh, and I'll turn my whole head back before I switch in the lane because that blind spot is not a joke. I mean, I remember one time I was driving somewhere and somebody had a car where they like I it's like they came out of nowhere. Oh God, this stupid thing. Everywhere they go, they have to play some loud music. Everywhere they go. So I'm gonna roll the one up on the side. He's got both of the windows down. He's got the Raiders picture on the back. Just great. Terrific. So lovely. my god. I swear this car has like the most mysterious owner I've ever seen. I'm very annoyed. And because that line is going so slow, I'm gonna have to hear it even longer. Great. Oh man. Terrific. Oh, this woman came here and got a Wolverine shirt. I say some of the shirts people have, they really surprise me just because I don't know, I guess I wouldn't expect a woman to wear a comic book shirt, but you know, stuff like that stands out. Everybody was so excited. Oh, Wolverine's wearing his yellow costume in Deadpool 3. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Actually, before the X-Men films just like hit or miss for me, and I really don't care that much for them one or the other. They're like the Transformer movies where there's like a first one or two. There's like a first movie or a second movie, not in the case of Transformers, but in the case of X-Men, that's like really that's like okay. Then some early installment that's really awful. Uh, the second one for Transformers, the third one for X-Men. Then some movie that comes around later on that's actually halfway decent with First Class and Bumblebee. And then a return to the regular old slop with some movie after that. So it's like if I really had my way, I would. I usually don't like starting over, but with Transformers, I absolutely would have started over a long time ago. That's what happens when you think that just because something makes money that it's good. It's not. Mm. Yeah, I'd probably rather go read. Instead of rewatching X-Men 3 and having to relive the horror of how terrible that film is, I probably would rather go read. I don't know. I forgot what issue of Astonishing I was not Astonishing, Uncanny. I was on issue like 300 something. I'd probably rather go read X Factor or Excalibur or some other book than deal with that stupid movie again. Mm. God, here comes another one. Although to her credit, she does seem to have some nice hair, so there's that. But it's all part of that same problem where there's so many of them who just have that stuff on them, and no one cares, right? Like in real life, no one cares to say anything, but then online, here they come. Here come all the attacks. You're to this, you're to that. Oh, this lady has an earpiece, and I was thinking she was venting her frustrations to the worker that's here. It's crazy. For as long as I can remember, people have had earpieces, and I've never used them at all. They've just kind of been this thing that everyone else uses except me. It's because a lot of times when you're talking to somebody on them, they don't charge them, or you can barely hear them, or it's all muffled or whatever. Because I had a relative who likes to use an earpiece, and they lose the pieces, so they'll have like no idea where the thing is, or they forget to charge it, or just some kind of crap happens. There's another one. That one's even sadder because she is not unattractive at all. Nice red hair, decent looking, ensemble. I actually really liked her outfit. Uh, but it's just like again that same weight thing. But yeah, me pointing out isn't to insult anyone because, like I said, if this was really about trying to embarrass somebody, I wouldn't just describe stuff. I would be showing people, but I don't. Uh, it's just me saying that it's really crazy that we live in an era where people will try to shame a man for not going to the gym, but then all these chicks that are actually overweight, they won't say anything to. And there's a lot of them. Like on any given day of the week, I can sit here and just look out the window and see several cross paths with me or walk past the car or whatever to go get their damn coffee. Did that guy finally leave? It looks like it. Oh my. I just saw this woman. She has some amazing, luscious hair, but the rest of her not is not so amazing. I'll put it that way. Like I'm not even saying it to be funny. I looked for a second. I looked for like a moment. Like I saw her turn to the side and I saw the stomach hang out. I was like, oh my god. 'Cause she really does have some nice hair. Has what I saw was a decent face and just I don't know what these people are eating. Like I'm not kidding when I say there have been days as recently as this week where I might not eat until 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and sometimes maybe one more time during the day. Like I'm that's why I said whenever another one. But whenever I see that, I'm just kind of like, wow. And I know it's not an age thing because this seemingly elderly man just came up and he's fine. He's not any type of, I mean, normal physique, whatever. But that's why I said this is even more disturbing because it's like, what is the cause of this? Like if people live in this exact same area as you and they're not that massive, what is the rationale for you? Jesus Christ. Oh man. So many of them. They keep reminding me of that lady from Discord that said the thing about there's other people in the server too. And like after she saw my picture and I saw her picture, and I mentioned before that I showed her picture like 5 people in real life, and they all said the same thing about her. And I was like, how in the world is that what like that? It's just I just thought it was crazy. But yeah, speaking of chicks, the one that was ignoring me is back to her same old tricks. Wish I could say I was surprised, but like I said, the first time was a shock. The other times, not so much. I think it's really sad that they act like this. I really like. I'm more disappointed than upset at this point. It's just whatever. People never find a way to not be disappointing. I got so close to doing a video on these online chicks because they're pretty awful. But it wouldn't just be about, oh, here's this one. No, it's gonna be like a series of them. God, I'm just. I'll never get the appeal of this coffee. Like I like a little bit of it every now and again, but this line has about 6 or 7 or 8 cars here. Still think it's funny that this car has been in the same spot with no sign of the driver for now almost an hour, if not longer. I don't know. I just find myself getting more and more frustrated with coming up here because of stuff like that, where there's barely any spaces. Uh, and in the few that there are, like a lot of times I'd park right in front of me, which is like would be off to the side and next to this little curb area, concrete area, and it would be annoying because I'd have to, when I pull out, make sure that the line isn't so damn long that they block me in. And I really hate that. I hate not being able to leave when you want because somebody has you blocked in. And of course, it's not the fault of the people on the line, but what is this? Oh, they're going inside. Wait. Oh, they're leaving. They said to hell with it. Wait, no, they're okay. Yeah, they are. They're gonna just like order from the spot or whatever. That is still one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 cars. And somebody's playing some music again, loud as hell because I can hear it from all the way over there to here. It's funny. Usually, I'm too nervous to even like if I'm playing some music and I'm driving around, whatever. It'll be a low volume unless I have the windows up and I'm sure that I can, not be heard. Or if I'm driving and there's like no one going down the road or whatever. What did Biden say? Some people have no shame. That's what I feel about a lot of these drivers. No, I might make a video on what it's like to be alone and just kind of explore some of the themes of you know being by yourself and how even if you work somewhere where there's a lot of people, even if you have people that you would supposedly call yourself friends with, um, you still or hell, even if you live with other people, you still are very likely to not actually have escape the prism of just being by yourself. In the video, I'll talk about how a lot of times people that you may live with or be around in some um, personal capacity have do not show the capacity to actually want to do anything with you that is remotely fulfilling. So what this means is that you'll, like, let's say you live with someone but you don't talk to them at all, or you talk to them, if they come in the room and whatever, you need something from them. You would still in effect be alone, because even though another person is there, you're still not actually doing anything with them. So it's I don't know for sure if I'm gonna do it or not. Depends if I have enough content to even discuss it as in depth as I would like. But it's something I'm open to talking about, that's for sure. So this whole thing is weird. I don't know, but a lot of that stuff, I just think people don't understand things on purpose. How is this person alone? They live with other people. Like, yeah, but if those other people don't do anything with them, I mean, they're alone in everything besides the physical fact of being alone, effectively. Oh damn! I didn't even get to see her. This guy is standing in the way, so I can't really get that good of a view. Got some nice hair. Nice face too. Yeah, some of these, like I already said, I'm not into pursuing or approaching any other trash, but I mean, I still look at one of them and say I like that. I don't feel any shame for doing that. Because, like I've said, I've always been fascinated by the different appearances of people. That's actually one of the reasons why it's such a shame that when you try to become such. Because I even was going to say that the alone thing really, it was a big part of why the romance stuff was so frustrating. Like wanting to meet someone that you actually want to spend time with and do things with, and when you don't get to have that, no matter how much you may have tried to make it work, it's a really like nauseating feeling. Which is why a lot of the claims that, oh, you just want to have intercourse, were so offensive, because it's like no one would sit here and talk to somebody for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months just for that, when they could go to another state and pay a price and get it done over a weekend. But I digress. People, they don't really think too clearly when they come up with responses to this stuff. Unfortunately, they just sort of peddle whatever lie they want to say for that time being. But anyways, I've been going now for an hour. It doesn't look like we're gonna get our usual characters. They're very busy this particular Saturday, and whatever. It is what it is. I can't expect somebody to show up all the time, but I don't know. I guess I'll go to the market and then that'll be it for the day. Yeah, because there's not much else going on today. It's just sort of whatever to me. But as I was saying, I'll try to see about doing that part one of the documentary this week. It's just been a really crazy period, with a lot of weird stuff going on. Oh damn! I got rid of the whole chat, and I'll be back on Monday. I can't even guarantee if I I really hope I have to come back up here, but it looks like I'll probably have to. Although it does also appear that that might be coming to an end in the next week or so, at least as far as on Monday it might be ending soon, which I look forward to because I'm really tired of this. So thanks for showing up, Winter Fresh, and have your rest of your weekend.